Welcome to set 2 of your vocabulary study. The roots we will be discussing are dict, graph, and scrib, script. So what is the forget-me-not? It is that vocabulary is important in every subject. It is not just important in English, and it most certainly is not just important in this presentation. Vocabulary can be used in math, social studies, science. In fact, to succeed in these subjects, you often need the vocabulary that goes along with that subject area. So please do not look at this as preparation for English class or preparation for a quiz. Look at it as something that you can use in every subject and at every stage of life. Our first root is dict, which means speak. To start us off, we have the noun diction. It means the manner in which something is expressed in words, how you say it, the idea of how words and phrases are selected and used to communicate meaning. For instance, do you speak the same way to a teacher as you do to a friend? His overly formal diction was praised in the courtroom, but not among his friends. That's showing that difference. How you speak depends on the situation, depends on the people. That's diction. Our next word is predict. It is a verb that means to infer and or say what will happen in the future. Jennifer can predict almost any plot twist in a book because she pays such close attention to details while reading. Next, we have edict, which is a noun. A command issued by someone in authority. Public words issued to explain a law or command. You will often see this in reference to things in history. During times of crisis, a sole leader in the Roman Republic was able to issue an edict that would remain in place without question until safety was restored. Now, I know this is not often heard, so I'm giving you the picture of the referee so that you remember that it's somebody in authority, somebody with power. And again, you will see this more in history than just in common everyday speech, but you should still know what it means. And remember, apply it to social studies, apply it to history. Don't leave it in English class. Next, we have verdict, which is a noun that means the decision a jury makes and later says after a trial, an opinion or judgment. Adrian's verdict about the new movie was negative. Now, I included this sentence because I want you to remember that, unlike edict, verdict can be about the court or it could be your own opinion. It could be your own judgment. This person does not have to be an authority. It's just, this is how I feel, and this is why. Finally, we have indictment. It is a noun that means formal words by a jury that charges someone with a crime. Please notice the use of formal and jury. That makes the word indictment more like edict. You need power and authority. Whereas with the word verdict, it could be anyone saying these words or forming these opinions. The example sentence is, the indictment for his crimes led to 5 years in prison. Our second root is graph, which means write. The first word in this section is bibliography. It is a noun meaning a written list of books and materials referenced in an academic piece. I knew the article was accurate after double-checking all the sources in the bibliography. Bibliographies are used to reference the articles, the information, where that information came from. In MLA, you have to include a bibliography. The next word is calligraphy. It is a noun meaning the art of producing decorative handwriting or beautiful handwriting. The example sentence is, the focal point of the room was the beautiful calligraphy that took up an entire wall. If you ever see those videos that circulate around of somebody writing super beautifully, that's calligraphy. Cartography. Now this is going to do with writing, but it's a little different. It's qualified by that cart, and that cart is about maps. And cartography means the science of writing and drawing maps. It is a noun. You can see how those two words mesh together to make a new meaning. Seeing as the ancient Greeks cared deeply about geography and invented the first map, it makes sense that the field of cartography began with their civilization. Okay, this is a fun one, cinematography. Again, we have that graph, which means writing, but the cinema adds information. It qualifies what kind of writing. Cinematography is a noun that means the art of making film and motion pictures, movies. And the example sentence is, the cinematography of the movie was so beautiful that even those who hate documentaries were enthralled. Our last term in this section is homograph. It is a noun that means words that are written the same way while having different meanings and at times different pronunciations, different ways to say the word or how it sounds. And an example, because truly this term needs an example more than anything else, the child threw a fit because his shoes did not fit, shows the differing meanings of the homograph fit. Now, unlike the other terms, I do not care if you know how to use the word homograph in a sentence. What I care is that you know what homographs are and you can use homographs in a sentence. You can demonstrate meaning that fit and fit are homographs. That's what really, truly matters about this word. Last but not least, we have the root scrib, script, which means write. Subscription is going to start off this section, and it is a noun that means a written agreement to pay for something in advance, like a magazine or television app. Marissa purchased the yearly subscription for National Geographic magazine. Now, obviously, Marissa filled out one of those cards and mailed it in, or filled out a paper and mailed it in. That's a subscription. But what if you pay for Netflix? Or what if you pay for Hulu? Or what if you pay for an app on your phone, but you have to pay it every month? That's a subscription too, except you don't actually have to write and mail something in. Why? Because subscription, the word subscription, has evolved, like words tend to do, as times change, as technology changes. But it still means you're clicking that box that says you agree to be charged every month. It still means you have agreed to pay for this many months. The next word is prescription, and it is a noun. It means a document written by a doctor for medicine or treatment. That's one part of the definition, which I'm sure you guys have already had experience with. But remember, multiple definitions, multiple meanings. Another meaning is rules or a method for handling and resolving a situation. So it doesn't have to be by a doctor, doesn't have to be medicine. It's, this is your problem, here's the solution. Problem, solution, problem, solution. Could do with health, could not do with health. The example is, my grandmother always said that the best prescription for a sore throat was hot tea and honey. Next up is the term manuscript. It is a noun that means the original copy of a book or written piece before publication, which means you send a book or play to a company that you have written and say, I really want this published. Or two, you already have a contract with that company and you're editing a piece of work. Manuscript also means a very old piece of writing that was handwritten. The example sentence is, Maria's manuscript is a book with over 300 pages of action and adventure. In this statement, manuscript obviously refers to the first part of the definition. If anyone handwrites 300 pages in this day and age, wow, kudos to you. But the word manuscript has evolved over time. That's what's important to notice. Just like subscription, manuscript has also evolved. That manu, or the man, that means hand, does not have to be hand script, handwriting anymore. It can also be something typed. This word too has evolved. Next, we have the word scribe, which we'll often see in history, or in certain classes with teamwork, scribe is one of the roles you can play in your team. It is a noun that means a person who writes things down, or someone who copies documents. So looks at a document, writes it again. This was obviously before the printing press. The example sentence is, Amos was the ancient Egyptian scribe who wrote the rhymed mathematics papyrus, a document that hugely contributed to early mathematics. The final word in set 2 is transcribe. It is a verb that means to write down and record, to translate. For instance, I want to take this book in French and transcribe it to Spanish. Or to make a written copy in its entirety. I'm writing down everything you said. Or through summarizing and paraphrasing. I'm going to listen to you and just write down the key points. The example is, Lily knew that, as class secretary, she would be required to transcribe all future meetings. This is key. Plan your study schedule. You do not want to be studying for hours and hours the night before. It doesn't help you. And quite frankly, it's kind of a painful experience. You want to plan your schedule so that you start studying early and you study a little bit each day. Maybe you study 10 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at night. Maybe you know, oh, I have soccer all night tomorrow. I should study more today so that tomorrow I don't have to worry so much. Plan your study schedule. Look at your planner, look at your calendar and say, how can I make sure I have enough time to study?